doing today Daf Samech Gimel Amud Aleph. We're all the way on the bottom of Samech Bet Amud Bet, where it says Tanu Rabbanan, a few lines from the bottom. Okay, so Tanu Rabbanan, Haohev et ishto kegufo. Somebody who he loves his wife kegufo, like himself, which means he doesn't love her for beauty. You know, it's a deeper rooted love. V'amechabeda yoter migufo, and he honors her more than he honors himself. Then hamadrich banav unotav b'derech yeshara, and somebody who he guides his children in the right way. V'amasiyan samuch lepirkan, and he marries them off at a young, ripe age. Alav hakatuv omer, on him the pasuk says v'yadata ki shalom aholecha. So it seems like over here, this list of things, everything really leads to the next thing. Somebody who loves his wife, not just for physically, but for deeper than that, that's going to lead to mechabeda yoter migufo. He's going to give her kavod more than he's mechabed himself. And if he gives her kavod in that way, that's going to lead to madrich banav unotav b'derech yeshara. If he gives his wife kavod, he's going to guide his children in the right way, because his children are going to see that in the relationship of their parents. And if his children are exposed to that type of marriage and that type of relationship, then they're going to be ready for marriage at a young age. Okay, very bottom line, ha'ohev et shechenav, somebody who loves his neighbors. V'amikarevet kirovav, and he brings close the ones around him, his relatives. V'anoset bat achoto, and somebody who marries his sister's daughter. So these are all like things of chesed. Marrying his sister's daughter, Rashi says, because a person cares very much for his sister, he's going to make sure to be mechabed his sister's daughter if he marries her and take care of her. It's going to be a good relationship. And somebody who somebody who lends money to an ani b'shat tochko when he's having a hard time. Alav hakatuv omer az tikra v'Hashem yaneh. The pasuk says regarding that person, when he calls out, Hashem is going to answer. Tishava v'yomer ineni. When he calls out, when he prays, Hashem is going to say, I'm here. I'm going to, he basically midah keneged midah. He went out of his way to help others. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to listen to his tefillah when he needs help. Now this Gemara, the last thing that said, Hamalveh sela le'ani b'shat tochko. That's it. Top of Samech Gimel Amud Aleph. Very top, first line.
Amud Gimel.
Samech Gimel Amud Aleph. So it says Hamalveh sela le'ani b'shat tochko, that he lends money to an ani when he's in a hard position. Simple understanding means the ani is in a hard position. But some learn b'shat tochko means when the giver is in a hard position. When he is in a tough position, he doesn't have so much the ability to lend money, but still he does it. That's when Pasuk says regarding him that Hashem will respond to him. Okay, Siman Isha vekarka ezer zot shtei habrechot tagri pachti. Okay, Amar Rebbe Elazar. So that those are just a list of the Siman of the Gemaras that we're going to see. Amar Rebbe Elazar. Kol adam she'en lo isha eno adam. Any person who does not have a wife, he's not an adam. Shneimar Zachar u'nekeva b'ra'am vayikrat shemam Adam. Zachar and nekeva together, that's Adam. And ve'amar Rabbi Elazar kol adam she'en lo karka eno Adam. Also Rabbi Elazar says any person who doesn't have karka, he's not an Adam. He doesn't own land, he's not an Adam. Shneimar hashamayim shamayim la'Hashem va'aretz natan livnei Adam. The aretz belongs to bnei Adam. So Rav Wolbe explains, at least the second thing. Meaning the first thing, eno Adam, to be an Adam, a person has to be a giver. He has to be there for others. That only happens when a person is married. Okay, tov. When a person is married. So when the Gemara says any person who doesn't have an Isha, eno Adam, means he has to be in a position where he's able to emulate HaKadosh Baruch Hu and give. And the ultimate position where that can happen is in a marriage. And then when it says anyone who doesn't have karka, eno Adam, Rav Wolbe explains it means that a person needs to be rooted in the ground. You can have an individual who is his head is in Shamayim and He may be, intellectually he's learning all day and he's serving Hashem, but he's ignoring this world. Meaning he's ignoring being involved with others. He's ignoring chasadim. He's ignoring, a guy could sit and learn and forget not care about his family, not care about his wife, not care about. That's not what HaKadosh Baruch Hu was looking for. Adam sheish lo karka means he's rooted in this world. So says the Gemara further. Va'amar, we're on Daf Samach Gimel. First word on the line is Shamayim at the end of the line, very top. Va'amar bilazar, mai dichtiv elo ezer kenegdo. What does it mean when the pasuk says Hashem says I'm going to make ezer kenegdo? So zacha azrato. If a person is zoche, she's going to help him in a way that will be positive. Lo zacha kenegdo. If he's not zoche, then kenegdo, she's going to be opposite him. Meaning either way, it's going to be helping him. But either it's going to be helping him in a way that she's going to be opposing him and he's going to have to, grow through that, or it's going to be helping him in a way that she'll be backing him.
Ezrato means helping, yeah?
Yeah, so either she'll be helping him, Azrato is going to be helping him, or kenegdo, opposite him, but it's still going to be, either way, it's going to be a help for him.
No matter what is against him.
No, it's wrong. We don't bring our own experiences into the... Okay, Vika Damri. Rabbi Lazar Rami. So some say like this. Rabbi Lazar asked the following question: Ketiv kenegdo v'karinin kenegdo.
Rami is it ask?
Means he asks, yeah. So the pasuk could be read kenagdo. If it didn't have nikudot, it could be read kenagdo. Nagdo means like malkut, like to hit him. And karinin kenegdo, but we read it as if like it's kenegdo. So zacha kenegdo. If he's zocha kenegdo, she'll support him. Lo zacha menagdato. If he's not zoche, she's going to give him malkut. She's going to give him kotak.
It's normal.
Ashkeche Rabbi Yossi
Listen, you're going to get hurt.
Ashkeche Rabbi Yossi Le'Eliyahu. So Rabbi Yossi one time he bumped into Eliyahu Hanavi. Amar le, k'tive eselo ezer. B'ma isha azrato la'adam. He asked Eliyahu Hanavi, how is a woman ozer? How does she help a person? So Amar le, so Eliyahu Hanavi said to Rabbi Yossi, Adam mevi chitin. Chitin koses, a person, he goes to his field, he works all day. What does he come home? A bag of wheat. So what, he's going to eat it like that? Pishtan. He goes, he farms, he comes back with cotton, he comes back with flax. Pishtan lovesh, he's going to wear it like that? No, she needs to process it, she needs to make it for him. He comes home with wheat, she needs to make it into food for him to eat. He comes home with, material. She needs to sew it to make it a beged for him. So Lonim said, raglav. She's enlightening his eyes and setting him on his feet. So the idea of this Gemara is also the Mekubalim explain, a man represents chokhmah. Woman is bina. What's the difference between chokhmah and bina? Chokhmah is just information. It's just the raw information, the raw material. Bina is the ability to lahavin davar mitoch davar, to take that information and create new things from that information. So a man, he provides the material, and a woman takes what the man gives and creates with it. Right? So it's the same in having children. A man provides a zera, a woman takes the zera and she develops it into something else and creates something else from it. So that's the relationship of a man and a woman. Is a man is supposed to be the provider, the giver. He's supposed to give his time, his love, his attention. And the woman, when she takes that and receives that, she'll reciprocate it and give back more. That's how the relationship works.
It's also like the aretz and matar, right? The matar is
same
like
thing, yeah. The rain comes down. The woman is the land. The man is the rain. Same idea. V'amar Rabbi Lazar, mai dichtiv zot hapam etzem ma'atzamai ubasar mi besari. So the pasuk says, Adam Arishon says, zot hapam. This time, Hashem got it right. She's a bone from my bones and flesh from my flesh. So melamed shaba Adam al kol behema.
This time Hashem made it right.
No. So what is the exactly? What does the pasuk mean? What does it mean zot hapam? This time it's basar mi besari etzem ma'atzamayu basar mi besari. What does it mean this time? So melamed shaba Adam al kol behema v'chayav v'lo nitkara da'ato. So the Gemara says it sounds like from the simple understanding of the Gemara that Adam Arishon, he was together with every type of animal, before he was with Chava. But the Rishonim explain it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean he was physically with every animal. It means he looked into every animal to see if the Tchunot and Nefesh could match, or some say he saw that every animal had a counterpart, and he didn't have.
Like better than his wife.
No, he before Chava was created. Before. One second. Ad Shabal Chava, until he came on Chava, until he saw that he had his zivug. He saw every animal had a zivug, a counterpart that animal was able to work with and was able to create offspring and come together with. He didn't have that, and then after looking through every animal and seeing that there's no shaykhut, until he saw Chava, he says Zot hapam, this time this one, she's this is the fit for me.
Wasn't he created with a female counterpart originally? And
yeah. Okay. So there's a lot.
Back to back.
Yeah. There's a lot.
That's still considered his bones and his flesh. No, it's still one unit.
Yeah. So there's a lot. There's a lot to discuss.
He couldn't get benefit out of it.
There's a lot to discuss with that parsha of Bereshit, the very beginning. But let's go further. Let's try to finish the Amud. So the pasuk says, Hashem says to Avram Avinu, all of the families of the land are going to have bracha through you. So what does that mean? Amar le'akadosh baruch hu la'Avram. Hashem said to Avram, Shtei berechot tovot yesh li la'avrich becha. So we're making a drasha of lashon baracha to berecha. Berecha is like lahavrich. Lahavrich is when you have a tree and you mix other branches into the tree, grafting. You graft other branches into the tree. So Hashem says to Avram, Shtei berechot tovot, I have two good graftings to graft with you, to intertwine with you. Ruth HaMoaviyah v'Naamah HaAmonit. Ruth and Naamah. Ruth was obviously out of her came David HaMelech, and Naamah HaAmonit was one of the wives of Shlomo HaMelech. Through her came a lot of good melachim that were part of her later lineage. Kol mishpachot ha'adama. That's the continuation of the pasuk. Nivrechu v'cha kol mishpachot ha'adama. Afilu mishpachot hadorot ba'adama ein mitbarachot ele b'shvil Yisrael. Even all the families, everyone on the adama only gets bracha through Yisrael. Yisrael is the source of all of the bracha that comes to all of the world. Now the pasuk says kol goy haaretz.
That's not direct Abraham.
What?
That's not directly Abraham though. That's Israel. That's his grandson.
Right, that's true. But that's Avram's main lineage. Through that, they get bracha. And kol goy haaretz. It also says in a different pasuk, nivrechu vo kol goy haaretz. So afilu sfinot habaot migalia la'aspamia. Even not on the adama, even the boats, even the ones that are traveling at sea, they also get bracha only because of Israel. So Rabbi Lazar says that in the future, all of the umaniyut, all of the different professions, they're gonna leave their profession. They're gonna be involved in karka, real estate, in land. Shneimar v'yardu me'oniotehem kol tofsei mashot. All of the people who are holding the steering wheel of the boat, melachim, all of the captains, kol chovlei hayam, they're all going to come down from their boats. Ala aretz, they're gonna stand on the land, meaning they're gonna leave their other professions. A boat represented business and trade and commerce. They're gonna leave that and involve themselves in land. Rabbi Lazar says also the worst business to be in is land. Now the Mefarshim point out there's a difference between being an owner of land and actually working the land. You have the owner who owns the land and he's profiting off of the land, and you also have the workers who are being involved in the physical labor. So over here we're talking about the physical labor of the land. He says it's a very low profession. Shneimar v'yardu, because the pasuk says v'yardu, they go down from other business to the land. Rabbi Lazar chazia la'ayara deshadi bei kirava leputye. So Rabbi Lazar, one time he saw this land that there was the guy planted kruv. He planted cabbage over there, leputye, on the when you have a field, there's a chokhmah in how to dig the furrows, which way to dig the furrows to plant. So apparently you're supposed to do it the long way. He did it the wide way. So he did it the wrong way. Maybe he didn't get enough out of his space, whatever it is. So Amar Le, so he said, Iteshadie leorkech, even if you would have done it leorech, you would have done it to the length way. You would have done it the right way. Hafuchi beiska tav minach. But being involved in an iska and an investment would be better than being involved in this business of land. Meaning, even if you do it the right way, still being involved in investing is better than working the land. Rav al levene shevile. Rav, one time he was walking through stalks of grain. Chazinu de kanaifan. He saw that they were waving in the wind. So Amar lehu. So he said, "Inaifit idnufe." Even if you're waving so nicely, hafuche beiska tav minach. Still, even though this was a great field and the stalks came out great and whatever, but being involved in an esek, in an investment, in that type of business is better than being involved in this business of working the land. Amar Rava, mea zuzi beiska. Rava says if somebody has 100 zuz and he knows how to invest it properly and he gets involved in an iska, in an investment, kol yoma bisra v'chamra. Every day he'll eat wine and meat and wine. Mea zuze be'ara. But if he has 100 zuz and he uses it to buy seeds and plant the ground, milcha v'chafura. He's going to end up eating every day salt and vegetables. V'lo od ela megan yale ara umeram yale tigre. And not only that, but megan yale ara, he's going to have to sleep on the land to protect his land. And meram yale tigre causes a lot of bad blood. It causes a lot of quarreling because the land ends here. You went on my land. He went on his land. Okay. Amar Rav Papa. Rav Papa says Zara velo tazbin. It's better to plant your own thing, but not buy ready-made food. Afagav dechiadadininu. Even though it's the same price, it's better to prepare it yourself rather than to buy it.
So it sounds the opposite of what we're going to say.
Oh, good. It does sound. It sounds like we're arguing. It sounds like they're arguing on what we said. Hani mevarachan. There's bracha when a person does it himself, when he puts in the effort himself.
Right, I was going to ask. Before, it sounded like the Gemara is telling you don't involve yourself in the nitty gritty and the everyday trials of digging and planting, and you should instead invest and just put money aside to this, money aside to that. But it seems like that's not what the Gemara is really trying to say, right? The Gemara is not telling you to be lazy and don't work the land.
Right. No, there's obviously a lot of depth here. We're just scratching the outside, but in terms of the Gemara is not condoning and the Gemara is not pushing for being lazy. And Iska also is not. I think the Gemara is just saying there's more when choosing a profession or choosing how to make a parnasa. You have to do your job to try to see what would be most beneficial and what would have more of a turnaround. Happens to be an iska, an esek. You could invest and you could put in a certain amount of money into a business or into whatever, and the turnaround will be a lot more than planting. I think it's just part of the hishtadlut is a person has to see what the turnaround is and involve himself in such a business where it's shayach to have that. Okay, so he said that which a person does himself, though there's bracha in that as opposed to buying, right? Rashi says bracha mitzuya b'davar she'en lokeach b'damim ve'en kalem aher. There's more bracha when a person doesn't buy it but he makes it himself. Zavin velo tezol. So we're gonna explain this not like Rashi, like Rabbeinu Chananel. Rabbeinu Chananel explains this means when it comes to clothes, when it comes to food, it's better to make it yourself, plant it yourself, and don't buy it. But when it comes to clothes, it's better to buy it. So don't make it yourself. Hanimili bistarki. That's talking about a bistarki. That's talking about like regular clothes or blankets or regular kelim. Aval gelima, but a coat, lo. That you should make yourself. Why? Lo mitram yaleh. It's like you might, back then they didn't have like department stores. So if you didn't make it yourself, it's very hard to find something that would be a proper fit. But regular robes and stuff like that, that was a one size fits all. Okay. Tom velo tishpots. If a person has a hole in his wall, so tom he should just clog it up. Velo tashpitz. He shouldn't do a whole remodeling of it. Shepot velo tivne. If he needs to do a remodeling, so let him just do a minimal remodeling, but not to knock down the entire thing and rebuild the entire thing. Shekol haosek bebinyan mitmasken. A person who is involved in, he overdoes it when it comes to binyan, when it comes to building, mitmasken. It could lead to aniyut. One thing leads to the next and the next and the next, and it's going to be a lot more than what a person originally expected was prepared to spend on fixing that thing. Okay, kefotz zavin ara. When it comes to buying land, jump on it and buy land. Miton nasiv itita. But when it comes to getting married, slow down, bimatun, take your time and marry a woman. When it comes to buying land, jump into it. When it comes to marrying a woman, don't jump into it. Take your time. Nachi darga nasiv itita. When a person wants to be married, he should go down one class and marry a woman. Meaning, don't marry a woman whose social class is above yours. Marry a woman whose social class is below yours. Why? Because that way she's gonna have respect for you. If you marry a woman who's higher standards and has a higher class, and you're not able to be that one for her who can provide that and she could look up to, it's not going to be good for your marriage. You want the wife to look up to you, so it's better to have somebody from a lower class that she looks up to you.
Lower than Yosef.
Right. Sak darga bachar shushbina. But when you're looking for friends, you should go up a class and find friends from a higher social class. Ama Rabbi Lazar bar Avina. Rabbi Lazar bar Avina says, Ein puranut ba'a le'olam el b'shvil Yisrael. Puranut only comes to the world because of Yisrael. Rashi says to make them fear that they should do teshuvah. Whenever something bad happens in the world, Am Yisrael should look at themselves and say, what can we do to improve? Shnei Emar, what?
COVID.
Anything, whatever it is. Anything that happens. I remember 20 years ago, 30 years ago when this tsunami came and whatever it was, everybody was saying, we need to do tshuva, we need to, it's because BlackBerry came out.
I know, but the
don't
is happened to the Jewish neighborhood, then we have to worry about it. If he goes, for example, to a state that with no Jews in it, what we should do?
Yeah.
No, so that's exactly what the Gemara is saying. It came there first. So the Jews should realize that something is going on, and they should make sure to do more Torah and mitzvot to prevent it from coming for them. Okay, there's a few more lines. Shneimar, it says in the pasuk, "Ichrati goyim nashamu pinotam, hecheravti chutzotam." Right, the pasuk says, I destroyed the goyim, etc. Their markets, their places. Uchtiv. Amarti ach tiri oti tikhi musar. Hashem says, I said, I just want you to see me and take the musar. Okay, Rav have a mifter Rabbi Chia. So, very interesting. Rav, he was leaving Rabbi Chia. Amar le Rachman litzlach mimid the kashet mota. So, Rabbi Chia told him, Hashem should save you, should save you from something which is worse than death. So, what's worse than death? What do you have that's worse than death? So nafak dak veishkach. So he went. He looked around the pasukim. He found the following pasuk: Umotzeh ani mar mimavet et haisha. What's worse than death? Isha. And the version explained Isha. Death is once in a lifetime. Isha is person lives with. Rav, maybe we're not gonna have time.
About the wrong Isha. That's normal.
Yeah, there's gonna be a few Gemarot at the end. We'll try to give more of an explanation.
Normal is okay, but somebody's not normal. That was a difference. I'll make sure Rabbi doesn't talk about this one. I should.
Don't talk about it in front of your wife, at least.
Well, Bezrat Hashem will explain at the end of the Gemara. Maybe tomorrow Maybe tomorrow we'll give
Worse
more
than
explanation.
death. Wow.
Rav havakamatzar leudavitu. So Rav, his wife would, she would bother him. Ki amar la avidi li talufchi. When he said, make me talufchi, make me, lentils. Avdale chimtzi. She made him some other type of food. Chimtzi, she said, make me something else. Avdale talufchi. Made him lentils.
Purposely?
That's, yeah. So ki gadal Chia bare, when Chia, his son, got older, so afichla, he flipped it. Whenever the father said, go tell your mother, make me lentils, he went to the mother, he said something else, so she would make the lentils. So Amar le, so he saw every time he asked for something, now, she's giving the correct things. So Amar le, Yaili lach imach, he said, oh, your mother, she became better, like she's doing the right thing now. Amale anahu deka afichna. He said, no, it's me. I'm the one that's switching it around. So the afichna la. So amale haynu deka reinshi the nafag minach tamim melafach. He said, that's what people say. The expression, the ones who come from you, your children, they teach you sometimes also. You could learn from them as well.
They can ask me something wrong to do something wrong too. That the woman is going to go crazy. If the man is normal, why they should?
So that's not always true. Generally speaking, you're right. It's a two-way street, but it's not always the case. So either way, he told his son, Ad lo ta'avidachi. He said, you don't do this. Even though it's very nice and you're trying to make her do the right thing, so you don't do this. Shneimar. Shneimar limdu l'shonam davar sheker ha'aveh v'chulei. It's not a good thing to learn sheker.
You forget about this.
Let's
don't put it in your brain.
Okay, let's do one more line. Rebbe Chia havakamatzar le'devitu. Havakamash midi tzayir la besudra. Rebbe Chia, his wife also was not so great to him. She would bother him. So whenever he would find something,
That's his son, right?
there's two. I think there's two Rebbe Chias.
Okay.
So he anytime he found something, he would wrap it up and save it for her. He would give it to his wife. He would give her a gift. He would pick a flower. He would So Amar le Rav v'hakam mitzar le. So Rav told him, she's bothering you. Why are you giving her a gift? So Amar le dayenu shemegadlot banenu matzilot otanu minachet. It's enough that they our wives, they do for us, they megadlot banenu, they raise our children, matzilot otanu minachet, and they also protect us from chet, from hirhurim. Okay, well we'll stop here. Maybe tomorrow we'll give more of an explanation. The Gemaras go further with talking about what's considered isha ra'ah and etc.